We watched a plane on fire fall out of the sky and crash into the ground, killing Yevgeny Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner mercenary group who orchestrated an attempted coup against President Vladimir Putin. Russian authorities confirmed Prigozhin was on a plane that crashed, leaving no survivors. The Kremlin has denied any involvement by Vladimir Putin. Putin released a statement saying, quote, "He was a man of difficult fate, and he made serious mistakes in life," end quote. That's what you see in a dictatorship. No surrendering in a jail, no mugshots, no innocent until proven guilty. A citizen of a dictatorship sees a plane crash out of the sky and wonders, if that can happen to a mercenary leader, what can the government do to me? A citizen of a democracy sees a former president getting the same treatment as any other accused and understands that no one is above the law. Joining us now is Michael McFaul, who served as the United States ambassador to Russia from 2012 to 2014. He's an MSNBC international affairs analyst. Sir, it is good to see you again. Let's just be clear. No love lost for most people for Yevgeny Prigozhin. The point here is that what happened to Prigozhin was entirely predictable, because that's what happens to people who run afoul of authority in a place like Russia.
That's right, Al. It's a great point. He was a thug. He was a criminal. By my judgment, right? He did a lot of bad things, and not just in Ukraine, but in Africa and Syria. But he did not have any way to defend himself, like you said. And the way that he was taken out in this just incredibly audacious way, again, we need to underscore, we don't know all the facts, so I'll just keep using allegedly. But pretty clear, allegedly, that this plane blew up and he was on it. That's the way Vladimir Putin deals with people that he doesn't like. Or he arrests them, or he poisons them, or he throws them in jail for 25 years for criticizing his war, as happened to several dissidents. But there's no rule of law in Russia, that's for sure.
Let's talk about that last point you just made. When we in the West look at Russia and we wonder, given the pressure that they are under, given the backlash they have faced for the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, why does the average Russian go along with this? And there are two important points. One is the average Russian doesn't readily have access to good information flow. And two is they have weakened any meaningful opposition in Russia, because meaningful opposition leaders are in jail. Navalny is in jail. Kara-Murza is in jail.
That's exactly right. And those 2 points are exactly the right ones. First, bad information. So those that support Putin are those that watch Russian propaganda channels on TV. By the way, the younger people in Russia, polling's hard to do in Russia, let's be clear. That's also hard to do in dictatorships. But to the best of our knowledge, those that get their information from YouTube and other websites and not from television tend to be younger, urban, educated people. They don't support the war. But do they protest against the war today? The answer is no, because your second point. They did in the beginning. I think a lot of people forgot that tens of thousands of people did protest, and then Putin did exactly what you just described with Navalny, with Kara-Murza, with Ilya Yashin and others. He put them in jail for years and years and years, and that is a deterrent for people to protest. And that's why so many people have their heads down inside Putin's Russia today.
But I look to some of these people to say we should in America look to them, because when our democracy is imperiled, and it is not in the same way that it is for Russia, that's a fact. It is not in the same way that it is for Ukraine, that is a fact. But our democracy is threatened, and we are called upon as citizens who do have a vote and who do have an ability to participate in the political process to do so, and we may do so without going to jail. And I look to these guys in Russia and say, in Vladimir Kara-Murza's case, he went back in April of 2022, knowing full well he'd be arrested, and now he's in jail. It should inspire us to say we don't have to go to jail in America to preserve the democracy that we have here.
I couldn't agree more. Volodya, who's a friend of mine, he's fighting for the very things we take for granted. He's willing to go to jail for it. He was just on TV last week in some arraignment, still smiling, still telling people to be strong. And by the way, he didn't get a trial of his jurors, of his fellow citizens. He had no due process. He had no rule of law whatsoever. When he was indicted, everybody knew he was going to jail. That's different from our system, too.
Ambassador, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us, sir. Former Ambassador Michael McFaul.